Cameron, I got really excited. You were drinking wine there, and then it turns out it was water. I'm disappointed.
Yeah, it's just in a wine glass.
He's classically hydrated.
Pinky's up.
Give it a little stir and then like sniff it.
Yeah. Oh yes. I definitely.
Pure Washington.
A good vintage water from.
Oh yes, from the tap.
Oh, it's not Voss?
There was
I'm so not cut up on how cool bottled water is. My bad. I'm still drinking Aquafina like a dinosaur over here.
I didn't want to say anything, but we've noticed.
Yeah, I'm not sure you have.
Welcome everybody to episode 36 of the Four Dorksmen podcast. I am Nate, aka Angry Nate.
This is Joe Exotic.
I'm Collector Clint.
And this is Ryan, Asian Tony Stark.
And this week we're joined by a very special guest. I'll let him introduce himself.
Hey guys, this is Cameron. I'm from the Funko social media team and also the Funko Funcast. That Joe Exotic call out just got me.
He likes to do that to us. Like we don't expect it, and he just like drops something goofy, and it just pure silence as we try not to laugh directly into our microphones.
Well, it's mostly
timely, too.
Clint is trying to think of a way to respond to that. He's like, yeah, I got nothing good. This is just collecting it.
I don't even bother trying anymore.
It's the perfect
What's the
order
point?
of intros, really. Yeah.
Yes.
But I'm just going to quickly go through some housekeeping stuff before we jump too far into this. So you make sure you're following us on Twitter and Instagram at _Dorksmen. You can always email us at dorksmen@gmail.com. We probably won't respond to your email, but we'll probably read it, and we'll probably read it live on the air. Make sure you're playing along at dorksmenbingo.com. We've got a bingo card there created for us by Andrew. Shout out to Andrew New Beardland, and also from Larry from the STS guys for helping us out with getting the website set up where it's nice and easy. dorksmenbingo.com, hard to forget.
Hey, before we go further, we're all wearing headgear, so that's already a square.
Hey, bingo square.
Hey. So you may have seen we're doing a Dorksmen Photo a Day photo contest. So it starts on April 1st. It's going to run to April 15th. We want to. Each day is based on a different episode that we've recorded in the past, and including up to episode 36, which you're probably listening to right now, which, surprise, it's Shoofy theme for April 15th for our special guest.
Perfect.
Yeah, exactly. So we've got some prizes that we're going to announce during the week. We're still kind of piece that together. The whole DCCC thing kind of threw us for a loop when we're trying to get prizes together for this, but we will come through. There's going to be some cool stuff. And yeah. So just keep an eye on that. It'll be all over social media and stuff, so you can kind of see all the rules. There's a good graphic there that Julie created for us. Shout out to Yeet Grimes. Yeah. So let's jump right into it. So we like to do this thing with Ask the Dorksmen. We usually source people on Twitter for questions and stuff. So we got a couple of questions that we want to get Cam's answers on, and we'll answer ourselves as well this week. So our first question is from Kelly, AOK20 on Twitter. If you could have one attribute or characteristic of an animal, what would it be?
I mean, in thinking about this, it's kind of like the ability of the animal is the most appealing thing. So the ability to fly. But I think the real question is which animal would you want to mimic? So in my mind, I kind of want bat wings. I think they're the most regal wings.
Right.
Regal wings.
Regal wings.
Fancy.
They're elegant, classy. I can wrap myself in them.
Right.
That's
a very well thought out answer.
There's utility.
Well,
Yeah.
you should have gone last, not first, because I don't know if first was have anything that good.
Yeah, how do you follow that?
All right, Clint, why don't you follow that one up?
No. Flying is a good one. I don't know. I think I'd like to be able to kind of see a little bit more without or you know what, I want improved hearing. That's what I want like dog hearing, because I can't hear the greatest now. So yeah, I want dog. I was almost thinking echo kind of stuff with dolphins, but I think just better hearing would be my answer. How about you, Joey?
I think it'd be cool to be a chameleon where you could just change the color of your skin just to match your environment.
Especially as a teacher, I'm sure you would like that.
Right. Well, that would require me to be naked at the time, and I don't know if I could get away with teaching naked.
Well,
Just
if you were
weird.
camouflaged, yeah, I mean,
if you got that time in between the students coming into the class, you could just quickly strip down and just stab the wall.
Ooh. Awkward.
Why is there a big pair of pants in the corner of the classroom? Where's
are they
the
standing
Andre
up?
at?
Are
these
they hard
size
pants?
20 sneakers. How about you, Ryan?
Oddly enough, I was gonna say something similar to Joey, but not a chameleon. I will do a cuttlefish for the same kind of reasons, but it can also hypnotize its prey, right? Like in like Ulysses Claw was saying, he's like whoomp, whoomp, whoomp in Age of Ultron. I have to
course.
tie it back to a Marvel movie.
Shout
somehow.
out Marvel reference.
Always.
Yes.
We need a
Always.
square for that. We need a bingo square.
I mean,
for
my
that.
hat says Marvel for a reason, but anyway, yeah, cuttlefish.
What? Ryan makes an awkward connection to Marvel?
Yes.
Is that what the thing goes with me?
It's really small font.
Ryan
I'm surprised you
forces
can
a
see
Marvel
it.
connection.
Anyway, Nate.
That's a good answer. I was gonna actually go with Clint's answer with like good hearing, better hearing, like kind of like, I guess like the echo hearing where you could like kind of see where things are without like in the dark without tripping over Banner's toys or like tripping over like Funko boxes and stuff like that. Actually, like I could like just hear where things are and I could just see where the echo or whatever.
I
don't
like
even
that
know
you
what
blamed
is.
Banner before you blamed yourself. by
It's
the
true,
way.
of course.
Well, what about? Aren't there any animals that can be better at math than you?
Probably.
Yeah.
Every single one
Yeah,
is better
okay.
at math than me.
Probably a
Dolphins are
goldfish.
smart.
I don't want the. Yeah, I probably have the
Just
memory of
start.
a fish as well. Yeah.
Who said that? Where am I? Who are you?
All right. Well, thank you, Kelly, for that question.
That's a good one.
That was a good one. And another one we got from Mark. Hey, Mr. Rosario, M. Rosario. We always screw up his Twitter name, but shout out to Mark. Very topical because this episode we're talking about the future of conventions and kind of what the kind of landscape of the world kind of changing right now with the virus happening. So for Mark, kind of a fun one is, what is the weirdest thing you've seen at a con? And I feel like there's going to be some good answers for this one.
How about
Cameron,
we
you
let
go last
Cameron
this
go?
time.
Yeah, exactly. I was going to say
Yeah.
he's been to
Okay,
more than we
okay.
have, so I think he goes last.
I'm super curious to hear what you guys say.
We'll let Ryan go first.
Me go first. Okay. I wouldn't say it's the weirdest thing that I've seen at a con, but the thing that stands out the most was during SDCC 2016. I think it was on Sunday. I was walking around and near Artist Alley, I saw two guys dressed up as T-Rexes in those inflatable costumes, and they were having a lightsaber fight. I kid you
That's
not.
awesome.
I actually have the video. I'll post it to our social later. But the funniest thing about it is I'm recording these guys going at it, whack, 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 turn around, whack, whack, whack. And then all the while there's a little, I'm assuming it was a chihuahua or a terrier in the background, just barking at them. Yeah. I don't know why. It stands out to me as just really odd and really funny because I wasn't expecting to see something like that in Artist Alley. So, yeah.
How is there space for them to? Because those suits aren't small, right? Like
No,
they're
they're not.
They're
big.
no.
It's kind of like as you walk in and approaching the area where Artist Alley is, and obviously down the line where Funko would be, there's kind of like that open spot right next to the G entrance. So for anybody that hasn't been to San Diego Comic-Con, there's different letters breaking up the hall. And of course, there's the infamous Hall H, which is separate from this conversation. But G is kind of the area that we're talking about.
Like at the very end. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
Of course, Cameron knows exactly where this is because he's been there many, many, many a time.
'Cause that's where I was born.
Clint, how about you?
So I'm trying to think here. I'm not very experienced in the ways of the con yet, but one thing that's popping in my head is, I've listened to you guys, I've listened to others tell about all their fun stories and sites and whatever at con, but at Denver Pop Culture Con, there's a patio, which I don't think is very common at cons. And I had a lot of fun hanging out on the patio because all you do is sit there and drink and watch everybody come in and out of the convention center in their cosplay or whatever. And it's just kind of a weird thing to say, I'm going to Comic-Con so I can go drink beer at a bar. but that's what it was. It was, and like I said, it was a lot of fun. We just hung out up there. We got a pretty primo spot. We sat there, probably 4 beers deep, and before we did anything, and just watched people go in and out, and shouted all the cosplay we liked. We didn't say anything to the ones we didn't. We were actually civil, surprisingly, after 4 beers. But
Nicely done.
yeah, right. I was actually impressed with my friends more than anything. It was enjoyable though. It's fun to do that. I know it's not a con thing, but it's kind of weird to think about. But that's also, I guess, a very Colorado attitude. There has to be beer at everything. So there you go. That's my answer.
Is it just beer or beer and edibles?
Well, see, so I didn't snip out the edibles, unfortunately.
Okay.
I didn't bring my edible sniffing pig, but we did. It's funny because they brew a special beer just for the con every year and has a nerdy name. This one was a Dungeons and Dragons one. I can't remember. It's Breckenridge Brewing. So again, it's very Colorado thing to have a specific beer at a Comic-Con, I guess.
Very cool.
It's good advertising.
Yeah.
Breckenridge Brewery. Shout out to them.
How about you, Joey?
So I don't know if you would classify it as the weirdest, but it's probably the craziest thing. And I'm kind of like Clint. I don't have a lot of experience with cons just yet. I've only been to 2, to Dallas Fan Expo last year and then to San Diego. But when I was at San Diego, one morning I was lined up for the Entertainment Earth booth. And this was the second day, I think. So they had already had preview night where they had sold a bunch of stuff. And then they had the next day. And then I guess that must have been Friday morning. I went. It was either Thursday or Friday morning. Anyway, one of the big things that everybody was getting was the flocked Target dog Bullseye from the Entertainment Earth booth.
Right.
So they had started off the first day just letting you get basically 10. Right. So that was their quantity was 10. Well, everybody was getting 10 and 10 and 10 and 10. Well, then they changed it to 2. And then by the time I got there that day, they had changed it to 1. Well, I just luckily got in like right at the end of the line as they capped it. Well, the line wrapped right by the little bitty seating area for the concession part. So everybody all of a sudden sat down in all the chairs in the concession area. And they're like, if y'all are not eating here, y'all can't stand here. And then there was other people just kind of making that, that line loop where they keep walking back around, waiting for them to uncap it. Yep. Well, finally they came around with like, what looked like raffle tickets. And they were like, okay, we've got 100 of these that we think we'll be able to give 100 more of these out. And it was a guy, he was probably about my height. He was 6'4", 6'5". And all of a sudden he's like, okay, I've got him right here. And when he held them up in the air, like it was like something out of The Walking Dead. Like somebody had just like held up like the last morsel of food or something. And then just mob came up, and I was waiting for people to start crawling over each other, and all these hands were just grabbing. I got a picture of it. It was absolutely insane. And I'm just sitting back thinking, I just avoided this chaos. Yes.
All right.
Although I would have had a primo position to just kind of reach up and snatch one.
Yeah, like high five them and then leg up.
Yeah.
Some tickets, yeah.
All right. Thanks for that one, man.
Yeah, thanks, buddy.
This one's for the tall one. All right.
Yeah.
Tree to tree transfer.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I think we just found the title of our episode.
Tree to tree transfer.
I'm writing it down.
Yeah.
All right, Nate, what's your crazy story from a con?
So like same with you guys. Like I've only been to a few cons. Like I've been to ECCC a couple of years, and I've been to San Diego Comic-Con a couple of years. And last year was actually the first time I actually got to the con floor. So for me, just being on the con floor is overwhelming enough. So I'm trying to just focus on where I need to get to, or what line I'm trying to get into, or kind of just focusing on myself and not kind of seeing everything around me and noticing all these crazy things. But you guys were with me in the Fun Days line, and you saw MC wearing his varsity jacket in like 40 degree weather, 40 degrees Celsius.
Celsius, yeah. Which is
in
like
the sun
100
for
million
like,
degrees Fahrenheit, I think.
Yeah, for like 3 hours in line. So that's probably the oddest thing I've seen is MC standing there sweating in his jacket, refusing to take it off.
Yeah, shout out to MC and his weirdness.
How about you, Cam?
So I just because of the nature of what I do, I have been to a few conventions, but hadn't ever gone before working at Funko. So I have kind of a unique experience in that, where it's mostly from the booth worker side or the retail side, but that kind of means we see some like really weird stuff before the show even opens. But I'll tell you two of the most upsetting things I've ever seen at these conventions. The first being, and this happened. Hillary, I think I've been working at Funko like a year or two before Hillary started, and she went to SDCC. It was her first year. We were walking in, and she was like, "Well, what can I expect from the show? It's going to be so, I've heard it's so big. It's like no other show." It's like, "Oh, it's fine. It's just like a lot more people." And as we're talking about how it's going to be, it's like, I gotta say, it's like 5:30 in the morning, 6 in the morning, something. It's super early. And we look over, and there in like these trees, kind of like lower trees, there's like 3 or 4 guys just all laying in them. They're dressed totally normal. They look like they're just hanging out, like literally just like laying there. Except one of them just has open sores and wounds.
Whoa.
That I like don't know if they were real or not. So Hillary and I are like, what the hell is that? And we keep going, and later we're talking about it, and no one believes us. So that's upsetting for a number of reasons. The most upsetting thing I've seen is...
Hold on, before you go any further. So you never heard any resolution to that? You don't know anything else that happened with that guy?
Hey, we just kept going.
Okay, I mean, smart, but wow. That would drive me crazy just enough to know.
It was. I mean, we still talk about it. She'll be like, "Do you remember that? Do you think he's okay?" It's been 5 years.
Wow.
But the most upsetting thing is at Emerald City one year, I was working at the Marvel Collector Corps booth, which was the subscription box we used to have. And this guy comes up, and he's super tall, and he's
Joey.
Wasn't there yet, though.
And he's got like really long hair. He's kind of like a heavier dude, but he has this mustache that is super like it doesn't extend past here, and it's just barely covering both lips. And for whatever reason, that's bothered me forever. Because he was talking like through it. It was like curling into his mouth. That was the worst.
Oh my god!
Yeah, I know exactly what you're talking about. Ugh.
It's like
yeah.
We wanted to help him.
Like, here's a calm dude.
We want to bring the community together. But I will say there's like no other experience that where there's better people watching, because people are, you know, uniquely showing their fandom by how they're dressed or what they're cosplaying as or who they're even hanging out with. And you know, it's such a weird, like surreal place at times where you're like looking through the crowd and it's a bunch of Deadpools, or like you know, a Link walks by, or like you just see Seth Green walking by. It's so random. It's literally a randomizer.
Yeah, well, that's awesome. I'm glad you went last, Cam, because there was no way we were gonna top either one of those stories. Yeah. Thank you, Mark, for that question. As always, we always love to hear your answers. So if you guys are listening, we'll put this out on Twitter as well. We'd love to hear what animal attribute you'd like to have, as well as what's the weirdest and craziest thing you've seen at a con. And we'll measure it up against Cam's story, because those two are going to stick with us for a while, I think.
Yeah, I know Hillary can vouch for me for that first one. It happened, I swear.
Oh, the open sores.
We believe you.
Yeah.
I mean,
God, it was awful. Hoping it was like costume makeup.
Right.
Like hoping there's like some kind of installation where it's like, okay, we're just going to put this zombie looking thing in the tree and people are going to walk by and react to it.
There was like no ad. It didn't have any like AMC thing on it or anything. Right. Just like gross. And it was day one. It was like the morning of day one.
Right.
How hard was preview night for that guy?
He went hard.
Yeah. I mean, if you're gonna go big, go big, don't go home.
Yeah.
Well, he didn't go home. Apparently, he was sleeping in the tree.
Right.
What if he lives in that tree?
It was a beautiful tree. Right outside the Hilton.
He's proud of his home. What can I say?
Yeah, that's right.
We should ask Julie to check it out and just have her roll by and be like, "Can you check out this tree by the Hilton downtown?"
The funny thing is, she probably already know. She's like, "Oh, that's Steve. Why?"
Yeah, that's my cousin. Anyways, so the main topic of today is we want to get everyone's thoughts on the future of conventions. So we know that Cam was a big part in helping with building the Funko Virtual Con, which we all enjoyed.
Further, shout out for that. You guys did a fantastic
job. It was amazing. It was a lot of fun.
Thank you to everyone who joined in, because that was only as successful as anyone who participated with us.
Well, I mean, even if you guys, not only did you do it right, you did it right in such a short amount of time.
Right.
It was actually crazy. Like, we found out the Friday before, like the following week was when Emerald City was going to start. So basically, we had like a couple of days to turn it all virtual, which, like, credit to like Dima and Kyle and Hillary, the whole content team just destroyed it. It was amazing. Sully came in with some great ideas. Ashley was doing everything she could. I think everybody really pulled their weight on that one, and then some. We had a lot of volunteers. It was a huge team win, and I think really speaks to our ability to just pivot. But I mean, there was a lot of catch up after the fact too. So totally worth it. It was great. We learned a lot, and again, it helps to have such a great community around it too that wants it to succeed.
And that's a great point that Cam brought up, is that Funko has developed, over the years, a very loyal following. Especially over the last, I think, several years. Cam can probably attest to the, just the growth of the company and, how much more they're probably producing with, mainline products with pops and stuff like that. But, my concern, I guess, if we want to say something about it, is for those other companies that depend on conventions year round to kind of keep their business running. Unfortunately, they can't all pivot like Funko was able to do, and probably still do fairly well financially. I mean, obviously we can't get into all that, but what does this do for those other smaller retailers? Like, I know for WonderCon, for instance, that was coming up in April, that they're already like, hey, look, we can't do this. I've seen a lot of stuff come from CCI and some other artists on Twitter, for instance, and Instagram, where they're like, hey, we're going to try again a virtual type of booth or a virtual convention, and they're posting links to all the different places where you can go and shop. But that's got to be a big concern for a lot of these smaller people, is how are they going to get through this, just like a lot of other small businesses that are not tied to conventions are. But that's my wonder, is what's going to happen to them if this continues on for several more months, because you have E3's already been canceled in June. You've got, obviously there's a big question mark with San Diego in July, and then you turn around in August is when ECCC is rescheduled for. That's when Star Wars Celebration is, and then right around the corner in October is New York Comic Con. Right. So it's like, what are all these smaller companies going to do? And then that's my concern, is that going to wipe out some of these smaller artists, to where hopefully in 2021, when all this is kind of settled and maybe we have a vaccine for it, so it's not as concerning to be around in public, are some of these people not going to exist anymore? Are they going to end up having gone out of business because they couldn't survive 2020?
It's a good question. That's a fair question. I don't know. I don't know if anybody does, but it's a great concern. So doesn't WonderCon have like a link to all the vendors they were going to have, so you could still buy stuff from them and stuff like that?
They do. They tweeted out something the other day, because I know Todd Land, which I'm sure you follow as well, Clint. That's the people that do a lot of the Bob's Burgers and American Dad and Family Guy merchandise. They retweeted it, so I happened to see it. And some of the links are live now that you can click on different vendors, and they'll be adding them. I know Todd Land said that they would be probably another week or two behind, getting up, which, most of these people should have their product probably, getting ready anyway, because the con was going to be the, Easter weekend, which is 2 weekends from now. So I'm assuming stuff will go up. So, if you would have been going to that convention and you would have been purchasing something from the Todd Land booth, for instance, we all really need to kind of, as a community of collectors and, nerds and dorks, kind of help those people out by, purchasing those, things that we would have gotten at the con anyway, to try to help these people, continue going on, because we don't really know what's going to happen, in the next couple of weeks or next couple of months, for that matter, unfortunately.
Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I barely got like the next couple hours in order.
It's tough to do sometimes, because it's like, for me, I had a plan to just like kind of splurge, buy a bunch of stuff at ECCC, and then now it's like, I got to go online, which is not a big problem to look online and stuff to buy stuff, but it's like, now I'm actually being a bit more conscious about like, where am I spending my money, because now I can't just tap my credit card and I'm out grabbing a bunch of stuff right now.
It's not so like, impulse in that situation.
Yeah, there's
right?
that impulse. I lose that impulse spending, which is I'm very guilty of doing all the time. So, but yeah, no, definitely need to keep supporting like the artists and stuff like that. But one thing about Funko Virtual Con is like, I truly hope some of these smaller companies like have seen what you guys have done, and it's like, you know what, maybe we can't go as grand of a scale and pivot that quickly, but we can do something. We can show off we can talk about our products. We can, show people what we were going to sell, kind of talk about the plans for the future, and just keep the fans engaged, I think, is the biggest takeaway for me from what you guys did. Was just because you guys can't physically be there, it doesn't mean you guys don't care about the fans and want to show off what you guys can do. So it's more of just thinking outside of the box to keep people involved, right?
Yeah. No, that's a good call out too, because as we start to look at WonderCon, we're obviously looking at it similarly in terms of another virtual con, but now it's the added layer of now we can't even go into the office to do it. So we were trying to figure out, could we go in with masks or whatever, and ultimately we decided, like, first of all, it's not even responsible to go in, so we're not even going to do that. But we should also think about, like, what can we do in this scenario where we couldn't do in the office? Like, what do we have at our disposal, and get kind of creative with that. But I mean, to your point, like, yeah, it's all about the community, not even just around Funko products, but around convention lifestyle. And I think with all of the artists and Artist Alley and all the different vendors and all the different people who probably do bank on that as a moment to, you know, help themselves financially or sell their product, or at least grow, you know, awareness of their brand, it's got to be challenging. But I did see a lot of grassroots efforts, especially around artists for Emerald City, where it was, you know, I don't know if you guys saw that page. I think it was called like Emerald City Online or something, but it was like all those artists that were like, you know, or people, volunteers who were like, if you were shipping anything to this hotel, let me know what it is. I can coordinate shipping it back. I can store things. I can, you know, if you need to raise, like, that was huge to see. And you also saw a lot of a lot of folks from the creative world start to find ways to collaborate with one another in creative ways that maybe they wouldn't have otherwise. So I also wonder if that opens it up to a larger audience than who would have been at the convention. But I have yet to see any kind of result to speak either way. I'm hoping it's the latter.
Yeah. You know, Cam brought up a good point when he was talking about, you know, Artist Alley, you know, because that's something that's a little bit more difficult for you to sell, right? You know, it's one thing with Toddland, if they have t-shirts and pins and vinyl figures that they can put, you know, you have these other people that are, you know, going and, you know, selling their art and maybe doing art there at the booth. But what I think went over really well, that was very well received by the Funko community, was the drawings that you had a lot of the local artists do. And I'm hoping that a lot of the other non-Funko artists that are usually part of Artist Alley may do something similar, like maybe do like an Instagram live or a Twitter live where they can do drawings there where people can see the artwork taking place, and maybe that could drive up some business. Like, I'd love to see them, you know, starting to do something similar to what y'all did with y'all's artists.
I feel it important we shout out Coach JD right now, being that he falls into this bucket of people that we're discussing. He's one of those guys, and I'm not sure if he's started thinking about doing this yet, but he does art as a side project on the side, right? Aside from his teaching stuff. So he would be one of those guys that's prime in this category. So, and he is a friend of ours.
Right. He's been posting a lot more on Instagram now that you say that.
Right. So I know he posts what he's actually already drawn on his Instagram. He offers it up for sale if anybody wants to purchase. But to Joey's point, he could actually do an Instagram live or Facebook live, whatever he decides to do, in the same fashion of him taking suggestions for a sketch, do it, and, you know, or take a suggestion from 10 different people, whoever he chooses to sketch for. Maybe he sends it out, or just have them pay for shipping or something.
So speaking of, Coach JD Designs on Instagram is his username, and he does have a YouTube channel. So there's
please check
content already there.
Yep, please.
So another question that comes up, talking about, you know, going forward once, you know, hopefully all this is past us here in the near future. And I don't know how much Cam can talk specifics about Funko, but just
give us the details you can't tell anybody. just share everything.
Just talking in general, I wonder how much bigger companies like Funko, for instance, will add to their con presence through a virtual type of setting. For instance, fast forward to 2021 San Diego Comic-Con. We're all hoping, obviously, that's, you know, back happening in place in 2021. You know, does Funko or other big companies, you know, if we can't talk about Funko specifically, do they incorporate some of this virtual convention that we've been doing, since it was so well received and did, like Cam mentioned, bring in a set of people that maybe wouldn't have been able to experience some of those things before? I'm just wondering if, you know, kind of conventions start to adapt a little bit in the future. Maybe not totally go virtual, obviously, because there's still the whole face-to-face, and I think a lot of people prefer doing that. But has it changed the landscape of it to where you have this extra layer or this extra branch, so to speak, that kind of shoots off, and it's like, okay, now we're going to kind of do this virtual part too to try to include more people?
Yeah. No, I think that you're asking a lot of good questions, and honestly, we've been moving so fast. There's no way to really speak definitively about the future. But if you look at the past, even the last couple of years, you can see there's an interest from Funko in bringing that to a digital space. So with like Fun Days a couple years ago, we actually live
2018.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. And so I think we took some learnings from that and went, okay, here's how maybe we could balance that going forward. And not even just in particular the Fun Days, but with Funko events in general, like you can always see that there's some cadence of here's a live stream before it started, or just as it's starting, here's coverage during. But it's a balance whenever we're on site between what we can do for social versus what we should do in person versus the live podcast versus Fun Days or whatever specialized event we have. So I think when it comes down to any kind of virtual convention specific content or plans, I would be all for building out 1 or 2 a year where it is maybe loosely associated with convention lifestyle, but not in place of any kind of convention.
Right.
Just like a supplemental, here's what it would be like to go to a convention. And if you experienced the Funko booth or an artist sketching or the live podcast, here's kind of what you could experience, in a digital larger scale. And I'll say, like, we got a great social response. Our social metrics looked great because we were doing like nonstop for like 3 or 4 days. But the trade-off there is that, it was really community building. It was really community focused. And we were able to shift our exclusive sales to online only. So we'll be doing a similar thing with Virtual Con. So I would stay tuned, or Virtual Con 1. That's the other thing, is like naming conventions.
Right.
Virtual Con 2, or like, we don't want people to be confused and think WonderCon might still be happening at the same dates or whatever. So we're trying to be respectful of that, but also not depriving anyone of the experience as best we can. But we were getting a ton of great feedback during, which we don't typically get because we'll live stream here and there for 30 minutes to an hour sometimes. We were getting like days of opportunity for people to jump in and be like, hey, how about this? And we're like, yeah, whatever you guys want to do. Like, it was truly like community driven too.
Follow up to that, do you see, and not even do you see, have you talked about or even thought about doing this in addition to cons, almost having your own virtual events throughout the year, not just the live stream, not just things here and there, which we do appreciate, and we know you're busy. But has there been any discussion or even thought about, I'm trying to think like May doesn't necessarily have a big con on it. You could do your own thing. Has that been discussed at all?
I think it comes down to schematics of like, how in the weeds should we get? Should it be a combination of things that we already do, or should we step it up? And like, I know Dima is like always all for virtual reality, and like that's but even that has like a price of admission too. Like with a Periscope, you can just jump on from anywhere, but I don't know a ton of people that have VR headsets, and maybe that becomes more easily acquired or more affordable as we go. But there's talk of like, would we create like the outline of the booth to share, just like what that booth would look like? And it's like, but there's no, there is no booth. Right. So it's like, is that even part of it anymore? Like, are we focusing on the right thing? So, I mean, to answer your question, we're talking about it all the time, because it's to your point, like it's a way to kind of bring up the community aspect beyond just like the Emerald City, San Diego, New York, like key beats. It's kind of throughout the whole year. How do we bring new people in? How do we make it feel small and approachable, but still reach a global audience? And we're not there yet, unfortunately, but this will likely fast track it.
You're making progress for sure.
Yeah. I mean, it was a great test, and we're doing it again. And depending on what happens with more conventions as we go, we'll continue down this path.
You guys did a stellar job given the circumstances, being able to pivot within 3 days. Like, obviously we've spoken to Sully within the last few weeks about everything as well. He was pretty candid. As like, hey, you know, we found out on Friday and the con was supposed to be next week. So really, Cameron, hats off to you and your team. You guys did a stellar job.
It was one of the best parts though, was turning to Sully and being like, hey, we need like 5 prize packs for the live stream.
Yeah, he went ham.
Those weren't prize packs. Those were like, what's bigger?
He was so excited. He was like, okay, I'll stay late.
You could just see the look on his face where he's just like a kid on Christmas.
Yeah, you let him loose in the prize room. Man.
No, I'll say, like, everyone on the team is dedicated to the community. They love the Funko family, like that whole feeling. But Sully is like the heart of that in a lot of ways. And especially coming from the collector side of things, I think he can really appreciate when we go make that extra step, because I'm sure he talked to you guys about the exclusive sale for Emerald City, but like there were so many meetings and so many conversations and back and forth internally and externally about like, how can we make this still somewhat accessible to people who have gotten access to the booth? Because that's a really special thing. And I'm really proud of that, because it could have been a 30-minute, no, let's not worry about it. But instead it was like a days-long process of testing things out. And it wasn't perfect, but we did learn from it. And hopefully we can implement this going forward. But
well, I know the lottery thing was not perfect at first. I know there were some issues right away with like number of items in the cart, but the fact that y'all fixed that as soon as y'all probably could after being made aware of it, you know, the technology aspect of it getting fixed, and then allowed, you know, people to fix that problem. I mean, the fact that you even had that option from the beginning was fantastic, to do that for, you know, the people that had won lottery, but then to, you know, to fix an issue and then just to quickly turn that around. I mean, that was a stellar job, you know, right there. So hats off again to y'all for being able to do that for the community.
Our digital team really did a nice job with that. I think they had tested for everything that they assumed was going to happen. And of course there's always the stuff that you never think. But yeah, I mean, I will say, like, when we do stuff like that, statistically, it will look like the vast majority actually did get through, you know, the checkout process with minimal issues, and everyone feels pretty confident, comfortable with that. But it really sits with Sully when it's like the smaller piece of that didn't have the great experience and they're voicing it, and he feels like, and I know he shouldn't, because it's not on him, but he feels personally responsible for like voicing that out as like one of the representatives that's kind of on our channel so much, because I think people kind of see that line kind of gray out, where he's living the message of what we're talking about and what we're trying to provide is a quality product and entrance to a community of pop culture fans, of goofballs, of dorksmen, of everyone.
Well said.
We do appreciate that. We do know that, you know, I'm sure I cannot imagine you, Hillary, even Dima, and especially Sully, how many DMs you get on Twitter about stuff you cannot handle or even think about touching. So I'm sure that's, and we appreciate that you guys are so engulfed with it. One note I want to hear, just anybody listening, especially people not super familiar, is I know Cam, Sully, etc., do have a very open and very strong presence in social media, but I think people forget that you guys just don't do that. You just don't go into work and you'll be all, gee, what can I give away today? Oh, what can I be on live today? I think like, I'm glad you said something about meetings and you're planning things and you're working late. We're starting early, whatever the case is. And you know, we appreciate it, but I think a lot of people just need to realize it, because I think there's people that think that your job is literally, well, there's a new video game out, let's play it online today. You know,
and there's I'm sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's twofold, because it's one, like, I think because people personally have social media accounts, they go, oh, I'm on Facebook. How hard could it be to be on Facebook? And like, I get that, but at the same time, like, it's not just that, it's additional pieces. It's the entire scope. How does it fit into our goals? The other thing is, coming back from a convention, to people who haven't worked a convention, they'll stop by our booth and be like, how was your vacation?
Oh my God.
Why just, man?
But like, it'll be like, oh, did you have fun on your vacation? It's like, I haven't slept in.
You're like, I had a great time. Why?
Yeah, it's kind of like if you've never been to a con.
It's just not a vacation.
Right? It's like if you've never been to a con before, a lot of my local friends would be like, oh, yeah, how was your trip? Was it restful? I'm like, no.
Not at all.
I didn't sleep much. But in years past, I have made it a point that I like to be able to sleep at least 6 hours a night. I know it's hard for you folks, Cameron, given all the different things that you folks need to be doing in conjunction with the booth. But I try to make it a point, because if not, you'll get con crud. It's a very real thing. You run yourself ragged, you'll get sick.
Yeah. It's not good for anybody.
I saw Cameron at the end of San Diego this year, and I could tell he was just like, I mean, you're still nice, you're still pleasant to be around, but I could tell you're like, I'm done.
Yeah, battery drained.
Like, I get it. That's why I just wanted to say hi. But yeah, it's and you guys work there. We're talking about just being there. So at least with a virtual con, though, you still get to sleep in your own bed. And I mean, I know you guys actually work late even then. You know, it's not just, okay, it's 5 o'clock now, we can go home. But you know, we appreciate that.
Yeah, no,
And-
it's a pleasure to do it, honestly, because it's working with and for a community that really cares about what we're doing. And I think it would be different if there weren't people who we saw on an annual, semi-annual basis or talk to online all the time, or really like all the people that I've met. Like it's been like that since day one, since like I started at the company. It was people who I barely like had never even met, honestly, reaching out and being like, hey, so I'm a fanatic and what's your deal? And like they were nothing but kindness, nothing but like curiosity and just like genuine camaraderie and just liking pop culture. And it's just like that's so rare, and that's what we're trying to instill and really protect with all this stuff,
Right.
Like not losing sight of the fact that we're all here because we like Batman, you know what I mean? Like,
Right.
it's supposed to be fun. It's supposed to be
Right.
It's supposed to be that.
Yeah, I'm gonna take a page out of the documentary and say, come for the toys, stay for the people, because that extends out to everybody that we've met. I mean, like these three guys that I'm doing the podcast with, and you as well. I wouldn't have met any of you had it not been for me collecting Funko, and it's such a beautiful thing that we're all very diverse, came from different backgrounds, but yet we're still here, right? Funcle Family.
Right.
I think
it's like
sums it up.
Yeah.
Seeing what you guys do, Cam, it's like you can tell in the production value and what you guys do that there's a lot of love on your side for doing it, and I think that gets reciprocated with the fans, and they, for the most part, I would say like 90% of us out there truly understand that you guys do it for the love, and you're not here just for a paycheck, just because it's like a big company or whatever. It's like you guys love what you do, and we see it, and then we respond in kind with our fandoms and what we love about what you guys do, right? So I think that definitely goes a long way, and we definitely appreciate that.
Hey, real quick before we kind of move on to the next topic. Hey, Cameron, I have an idea. Can you guys make Nintendo Pops?
All right.
And Cam has left the podcast.
And Cam has left us.
That's a great idea. Well, definitely.
Right? You've never thought of that.
Never heard of
before.
that.
That idea has
Ever.
never come across our desk.
Yeah.
Can you send me a link?
Nintendo. What?
Yeah.
Yeah, we
What's
never
this,
heard that one
Nintendo?
before.
Why are animals crossing the street? What's going on?
So we touched a lot on cons, virtual cons, and things like that. We know that not just conventions are being impacted by, the coronavirus and kind of just the way the things are happening right now. Cam, we know you're a big music guy. You obviously love movies and things like that. So what do you think about concerts and stuff moving forward with kind of this gathering ban in place still?
Yeah, no, it's kind of there's obvious pros and cons to both. I'm realizing as I get older that I'm not like a huge, like I used to be like a go to a show a couple times a week kind of thing. Now I'm just like, man, they're not even coming on till 9:30. Oh my God. So in that respect, like I'm picking and choosing and becoming a little bit more strategic. I will say though, it's cool to see people get creative during this time. I've seen a lot of, I don't know if you guys are following along with like the various Instagram, like producer DJ battles that are going on.
But like Diplo and everybody. Yeah.
It's nuts. There was one last night. I think it was Sean Garrett versus The Dream, and it's basically the format. Or before that was Timbaland versus Swizz Beatz. And what you notice is like they'll get on Instagram Live. They just join stories or broadcasts, and one of them will just play a song that they produced. And it's simple, but like as it starts going, like they'll start to like interact with one another and be like, "Oh, you can't beat this," or like, "Oh, do you remember?"
Oh,
this?
really?
But then people in the comments, like you start to see names pop up, and you're like, you realize that there's not only like 30,000 people just watching, but in there's like a bunch of celebrities and other musicians and athletes and politicians and brands and stuff. And they're all like, "Oh yeah, play that again." And you're like, "What? Did Kellogg's just ask you to play a song?" But it's so cool to see that because they're actually doing something different and they're allowing access into something that's really unique, but also like it is just like fun. Like it's just
awesome.
Like you got to wonder if you're like a super producer who made like, a dozen, 2 dozen top like number one hits over the decades. Like, aren't you proud of that? And it turns out they are like really proud of that. Yeah. But I like that. The one thing I don't a lot of people are bringing up like the Tupac hologram from Coachella years ago, where they're like, oh, hologram concerts are coming into style or could be. And I'm like, I don't really, I would hope not, but I can see why that would be valuable maybe. But it would have been cool if the Tupac hologram was the only hologram that ever could do that. And then just
I agree with you. And it made more or less sense because, unfortunately Tupac's not here anymore, but there's something about seeing somebody live and seeing their reaction or whatever the case is that you're not going to see with a hologram. I'm with you on that.
Totally. Like Tupac coming out during Coachella as a hologram is like, it's in California. Granted, it's like an affluent music festival, but it's in California. It's unexpected. It's an audience that's young enough to maybe not really remember his impact, but still aware enough to appreciate him coming out. But with would you see Queen if it was like a hologram Freddie Mercury? I wouldn't. I would feel
that's a gray area,
especially with the band playing with him and then him standing there. It'd be weird.
It would be like just like not. It would feel like
that's a good point.
Like just kind of weird. I don't know how else to describe it. Just kind of gross. I don't know.
It's a lot unauthentic or like.
There you go. Yep.
It feels very forced, right?
Forced,
be like.
Yeah. But then the question is like, which Freddie Mercury is it?
Also a good question.
True.
He's like 30 years younger than everyone else. So it just
or do they age him?
Does he have a mustache? Does he not have a mustache?
He'll always have
does he come out on the shoulders of a hologram Darth Vader?
Yeah. That might be worth seeing.
Pop culture mashups.
Yeah.
One thing that's interesting. Sorry, I'm kind of going to keep this moving a little bit. Is tonight on Fox they're doing the iHeartRadio concert at home.
With Elton John, and Backstreet Boys, and
I just saw how many big names were on there. I'm interested to see how that goes over. But I mean, I'm glad. I mean, I paid hundreds of dollars to see Elton John on his last tour. I love Elton, but it's going to be interesting to see what it's like seeing it for free on your couch.
It's also nice to actually see them perform in the intimacy of their own home. Right.
Absolutely. Oh, absolutely.
I think that's another good point. A lot of the DJs, I know since Cam mentioned DJs and whatnot, a lot of the DJs, I have some friends that work locally in the gig business. They've been taking to Instagram or Facebook or Twitch, whatever platform they want, and they've been trying to push their music out there and performance more. I guess one, they want to try and see if anybody will tip them and make a donation per se, but they also want to keep the vibe positive and keep it going and keep the momentum up for other people and tell them, we'll get through this.
Relationship marketing, am I right?
It's interesting. The music industry, because of I truly think Napster and LimeWire and all those where you could just get songs free is obviously in the last decade or two switched over to more digital as far as album sales are concerned, and they're able to do stuff from home. Like you were saying, they could even record from home if they wanted to. Most of the big ones have home recording studios and are producers too to a certain extent and could probably release some stuff. So I don't think the music industry probably takes as big of a hit. But the movie industry is what I'm wondering, what's the landscape of it going to look like? Because you have all these huge tentpole big movies that Fast and Furious, Mulan, Black Widow, Wonder Woman that have all been postponed either a few months or, like Fast and the Furious, an entire year, so what happens to the film industry? Because a lot of people don't realize or don't think about all the other jobs that are attached to that, whether that's jobs on the film or TV set that have to get paid, but also the movie theaters. You have, that's a total, different industry in and of itself. And you have all these people that are, not working right now. And, how long it's going to be, because you've got all these movies that were already ready to go, right? That were ready to release. Well, now you have all these other movies that were, pre-production that were written and, ready to start shooting that can't shoot now. So at some point, where's that bubble going to be where you all of a sudden have little or no content coming out for several months? Yeah, the movie theaters are back open, but, this movie that came out still playing from 8 months ago because we don't have anything new to play. So, right? The industry is, affected by all this. We're all binging all this stuff on Netflix and Amazon Prime, clue, and then all of a sudden we're going to run out of stuff to watch depending on how long this goes for, because people can't shoot anything right now.
Yeah, a lot of seasons of TV shows are they're just like, well, we're done. Like, we've got 12 episodes out of 20. That's it. That's all you're getting for the season. And it's like, you're gonna like walk off like a random cliffhanger that you weren't expecting. It's like,
it's not even a cliffhanger.
Yeah, it's not even a cliffhanger. It's just that they couldn't resolve it. Yeah.
Wow, that's a good question. Those are, I mean, I'm glad Joey brought up, like movie theater workers. I was thinking we were talking concerts, people that work at concert halls, not even the big ones, but the little ones, the Pepsi Center here will probably be fine. But what about, the Bluebird Theater, which I don't expect anybody here to know because it's a small theater. It'll be interesting when this all recovers, who's still around, who can stick around, and what they have to decide to do. And same thing with movie theaters. Do they play old movies? Do they try to get something redigitalized or redone and release that? Same thing with concert halls. Are they going to have, are some of the places that's got their beginnings, they're still, say the Bluebird and say, I don't know, Dave Matthews, like, well, I'll play there this time to help you guys get back. And then I'll go play Red Rocks the next night. Whatever the case is. Yeah, exactly. Mm-hmm. I mean, I hope, and from, especially with these, first of all, I didn't even know the rap battles are going on. I feel so old and out of the loop, but I'm glad you said that. But I'm glad musicians are keeping up the positive vibe, and I'm glad they're trying to help. And I think this, this concert tonight on Fox, which I know everyone will listen to afterwards, helps out too. So I'm glad there's things happening. It'll just be interesting to see how they adjust afterwards. The movie thing. I'm sorry, go ahead, Joey.
It'll be interesting to see, too, in a couple of months, once you can actually graph some of the economic data. You talk about the movie industry. Obviously, I think we're going to see a big drop-off in that. The music industry, like I said, I don't think you'll see quite as big of a drop-off in it. But I'm wondering if, on the video game side of things, I know we mentioned that earlier, I wonder if you want to actually see an uptick in sales from what they expected. We were talking earlier with some friends about Animal Crossing. I mean, everybody's going crazy for playing Animal Crossing.
You can't find a Switch right now. You cannot find a Switch in the store.
And that's what I'm wondering. Is this actually going to benefit? And you hate to use that word when you're talking about a pandemic affecting things, but financially.
There you go.
Yeah, is it going to financially benefit some of these video game, companies, especially maybe some of these indie companies that probably work out of their house anyway, developing video games? Are they going to start, churning stuff out because they're working from home already? Are we going to see an uptick in maybe, indie games, coming out that maybe kind of spurs on the industry? It's going to be really interesting to see how things play out in a bunch of different areas over the next coming months.
Thanks for the silver lining.
So speaking from someone that does work in the video games industry, we literally have not missed a beat in what we've doing content wise, things that we've got getting ready for, like we've already scheduled and we're building offers, we're building whatever. It's like, it is literally business as usual. We just, I roll. The only difference is I don't have to spend half an hour on the train to get to work. I just roll out of bed, turn on my laptop, and I'm at work. And you that's the same with the entire studio.
Very free.
Yeah, exactly.
Get your creative juices going.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a really good point, because I think I'm fortunate enough to be in a job that I don't have to kind of worry about these other things that are happening with the cancellations and stuff. So, so it'll be very interesting to see what comes out in the next few months.
The real question is, how are the toilet paper and hand sanitizer companies doing?
Buy stock in them now.
Right?
And Charmin and Germex.
That's right. Perel is just swimming in gold coins right now.
Yeah.
Oh, they're Scrooge McDucking it.
Right. That's right.
I think there's someone's on Reddit, they've done a graph of just the stock prices for them, and it's just all of a sudden it's up 700%. It's
well, if you guys, I know Angry Nate has seen this. This is an old Simpsons episode, but Homer buys stock, and I don't think you can actually do this, in pumpkins in October. And he's like, I'm going to sell about April. Of course, everything crashes by the end of October. So he's like, what went wrong? Kind of thing. So that's exactly what's going to happen with this.
Oh, Homer. Oh, Homer.
But anyway, this has been a great discussion about just the differences, and all you guys have really had interesting perspectives. I appreciate that. I just hope everybody who's experiencing anything right now, think you're in our thoughts. We're hoping for the best.
Yeah.
I'm glad the government's doing something. I'm not going to make this political, but I'm glad action's being taken there, and hopefully we all come out better in the end.
It forces the world to change. That's the key thing that we can take from this.
Yes.
You don't have to look at it in a negative or a positive way. Just take it for what it is. It's forcing us to change. It's forcing us to view things in a different light. And it's forcing the whole world to evolve. Mm-hmm. There's your Pokemon reference, Cameron.
Yeah, thank you. You're welcome. But
And
that's an interesting point because it is one thing where it's not like the enemy is another like person. It's
Mhm.
something that we are all going to have to experience one way or another. So if we can, it's uniting us in a way I haven't seen in my lifetime, where the whole world can kind of go, okay, let's just stay inside.
Yeah.
I don't think like even our parents have seen this kind of thing.
Agreed.
It's so weird.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just weird. Like it like everything, every meeting I'm in or email that I'm like there's like a preface of like weird, isn't it? Anyway, and it's
Yeah.
yeah, it is. It's so weird. It won't be normal. I refuse to let it feel normalized.
Mhm.
I actually kind of miss going to the office. I'm not going to lie to you guys.
It's probably
I feel
the
more
social
productive.
interaction, I think, that I miss more than
Oh, yeah.
anything else. So these chats that we have online are definitely very helpful. One thing, I also got to make another movie reference for Marvel, but like how Cap is saying in Endgame, right? He's trying to be the ray of positive light, and he's like, I saw a pod of whales in the Hudson today. And they're actually saying, if you look at the Earth from space, there's less pollution. Like,
Right.
you can actually, the canals in Venice look cleaner. You can definitely tell the difference in pollution levels in Las Vegas. So, I mean, again, I'm just trying to be that ray of positive light. I know that there's a lot of bad going on in the world, but there are positives that are coming out
Right.
from this as well.
When you got to look at both. I mean, does this mean we do more work at home when we have office jobs, or does this mean, things don't work at full capacity? Does this, who knows? There could be. I mean, I hope there's positives that come out of this actually,
There are.
because it can't all be negative.
There are. Yep.
Yeah. So, and to Brian Mariotti's point, the recession hasn't stopped my toy buying at all. So, thanks for that.
It's giving me the weirdest like buying patterns of stuff where I'm like, no, I should be very careful. And then
Yeah.
I gotta get two.
Right.
One to rock, one to stop.
Yeah, it's like stuff I never would have even wanted.
Well, we were talking about Animal Crossing earlier. Like, I'm like, I got to buy a physical copy. Yeah, it's been weird.
I can't find a Switch anywhere, by the way.
Oh, man.
I've been trying to look for one. I can't find one anywhere.
That's the way of the world. It's the same here in Hawaii. I have
Yeah.
a lot of friends looking for one too.
That's 3 years old. You guys should be on that. I'm ashamed.
I have my Xbox. I'm fine. That's what I use.
Well, that was a very good conversation, and we appreciate that, Cam. We appreciate taking your time out to kind of chat with us about stuff like that,
Yeah.
and just hearing everyone's opinions is good because this is all we have right now is we have each other through this virtual this webcam and hanging out and stuff. So we hope that for anyone listening, like we hope that this has kind of helped your day or helped your week this week, and breaking the normal of what's happening in your life, and hopefully it's a bit of a positive spin for you.
Yeah. Any thoughts you guys want to add? Make sure to do it while in the SoundCloud chat or on Twitter or whatever. We'd love to hear your thoughts as well.
Exactly. So Joey, what time is it?
It's game time.
Oh,
Clint
Clint.
gets so like into it when he
That's
hears
right.
it, man.
Hey, there's no sports right now, man.
Yeah, this is the closest thing we have to sports. So
This is our game. This is our sport. We need to get Joe Buck on to do
Yeah,
the
you could
commentary on this.
absolutely
some
not.
commentary
And
going.
no Troy Aikman, no
Tony
no Chris
Romo calling the
Collinsworth. Romo would
Romo
call it
in.
ahead of time. He's
Yeah, he would
Yeah,
make
he
predictions
would.
ahead of time. Clint's about to get this one wrong. Everybody just watch right here.
Exactly.
Did you
All
guys see that tweet that was like, it was when they were still having games, but no audience, no crowd? Someone was, instead of no crowd, how about one fan from each team?
They just heckle you the whole time.
Oh,
They're
that'd be
just like
amazing.
chasing each other around the stadium.
Well, they're still doing wrestling with no crowd. And
I'll do you one better. Waldorf and Statler.
It's so weird.
Just have Waldorf on one side and Statler on the other side, just heckling at each other. Hey, you shut up! Yeah.
That was a good Waldorf impersonation. Look, I couldn't do it if you had pants on. Anyway.
All right. So this week's game is called Lights, Cameron, Action.
Dang.
So I'm
Puts
going
the pressure
to
on.
start listing off movies. We'll have 10 rounds altogether. I'll start listing off movies for a particular Cameron. It could be the first name or it could be the last name. It could be an actor, could be a writer, could be a producer, director, etc. And I'll go through a list of 5 different movies. I'll start off with 50 points. Each time I have to give another movie as a clue, it moves down 10 points. If you guess wrong, You don't lose points, but you do lose your chance to guess again during that round.
Okay.
And we automatically move on to the next clue. So the quicker you're able to guess, the more points you earn. So if you guess correctly after one movie named for that particular Cameron, then you would get 50 points, and then it goes down in 10-point increments from there. And remember, the first one to buzz in we'll get to answer first. Yes, tapping on your head, correct. All right.
We're high tech here with
This
the,
isn't
Yeah,
fair.
yes.
Cameron can go to
yeah.
CamCon and he can meet all these people. That's not
That's
fair.
right. It's going to be really embarrassing if I don't get a point.
All right. So we have any questions before we begin?
No.
All right. Here we go. Round one, starting off at 50 points. The first movie clue for this Cameron is Annie. Clint.
Cameron Diaz.
Very good. Cameron Diaz is correct.
How's your head feel? That was pretty hard. I heard that.
yeah,
Right. I realized that after the
Got
fact,
that
but I
on the
really wanted the points.
He wanted to
I
make sure he
killed
got
last week.
he got buzzed in quick for that one.
Hey,
That's
Joey,
right.
real quick question: Is the last round going to be bonus again like last time?
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. I actually did 2 bonus rounds this time.
Okay.
And I picked round 4 and round 9 as the bonus rounds.
Just
for
thank you.
bringing that up. Okay. Oh, and also, I don't know if I clarified this earlier. This could be movies or TV shows.
Okay. Gotcha.
okay.
I was getting ready to say Jordan Cameron for football player, but never mind.
Okay, here we go. Next round, round 2. We're back at 50 points. Mercy Street. Okay. Move on to the next clue. Shameless.
It's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know if I know the person even, but okay.
Okay. Next clue is Anthem of a Teenage Prophet.
Remember, it could be actor, actress, or director. He said.
Correct.
So
And no Googling,
That doesn't help.
no IMDb.
Next one is Amityville: The Awakening.
Man, I don't think I've seen a single thing on this.
Yeah.
in this.
No,
Same.
I know of Shameless
I'm sorry.
though. William H Macy
okay.
isn't an answer.
Last one, Gotham.
Ooh, I think I know.
Nate.
Is it Cameron Monaghan?
It is Cameron Monaghan. Very good, Nate.
Who does Cameron Monaghan play in Gotham? I'm not familiar.
The Joker character.
The
okay.
Joker character.
But they don't call him.
The
They don't
Joker,
call him
right.
Joker. but-
Understood. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's all the beginning.
Yeah.
All right. We're back to 50 points. We're starting on round 3.
Ryan guessed it without even seeing it.
no,
He's-
my head was
isn't
itchy.
Okay. First clue, Descendants. Okay. I thought Clint might have the leg up since he's got the young daughter.
She's
here.
too young for that show yet.
I got you. Okay. Next clue, Jake and the Neverland Pirates.
Yar.
Yar Cameron.
Yeah.
Cameron Yar.
Cameron Yar.
Nope. No guess. Okay.
No guess.
Next clue, Grown Ups.
Oh, wait.
Oh, nope. You already buzzed in, Ryan.
Selma Hayek does not have Cameron in her name.
Good, Ryan.
Cameron Boyce.
Cameron Boyce is correct. Very good.
Yeah, I was right.
There you go.
I was thinking,
Now-
wait. Is that the right one? So
Who's Cameron? I don't know who that is. Who's
Yeah, I don't
Cameron
know who
Boyce?
that is.
Cameron Boyce is, huh? Did you tell me shut up? Like, don't say
No,
it.
I didn't say shut up.
Oh. Cameron
Well,
Boyce
shut up.
is what's his face's kid in that movie? Never mind.
That doesn't help.
Move on.
Was a child
Yeah.
actor?
I don't know
He's a child actor. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
the last clue I was going to give was Jesse. I don't know if you ever watched that show with your daughter for any reason, but yeah, that was going to be the last
If
clue.
it's not Muppet Babies or Mickey Mouse Clubhouse, I probably don't know it.
He's Adam Sandler's kid in Grown Ups.
Gotcha.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
I've never seen that either, but all right.
That's-
This is a bonus round.
Ooh.
So all the points are doubled.
All right.
Okay.
Stretch out my arm
Your
here.
first Cameron clue is manhunt.
Something exciting going on at Clint's house.
The doorbell rang and the dog and the baby are going crazy.
Yeah.
The edibles were delivered. Everybody's excited.
Give me a moment.
Okay. Next clue, the Umbrella Academy.
Which I still haven't seen. I'm disappointed in myself.
It's so
You're
good.
missing
I
out.
only
So
heard good things.
You gotta watch it. It's so good.
That and the boys, I know.
Oh, the boys
Oh,
too. Oh,
I still need to watch The Boys.
Finally
no,
got around
both
to
of
that.
you.
I feel like I
they're
need to
so
watch
good.
a lot of stuff anytime we play trivia games like this.
Right? Hold on, let me make my list.
Okay, so didn't get that one. Next clue, and I thought that was going to be the one that was going to get it. Barry. It's the HBO show with,
Yeah, with,
Bill
Bill
Hader,
Hader.
which is also very good if you haven't watched it. Highly recommend.
Oh, I love it. So
I don't
good.
have HBO.
I don't either, but it might be the time to get it.
Okay. Next is Stitchers. Okay. And last clue is Camp Dakota.
I'm gonna ring in and say Cameron Smith just because I have no clue.
No. The correct answer was Cameron Britton, who played Hazel in the Umbrella Academy.
Oh, okay.
Sure,
Yeah.
sure thing.
Which is why it was a
Yeah.
bonus round. It was a bonus
Yeah.
round.
Yeah.
Okay. Next round. We're starting back at 50 again. This is not a bonus round. Descendants again.
I already forgot the answer from the first one.
That one was Cameron Boyce.
Wow.
So obviously it's a different Cameron now, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
or it could
yes.
be Cameron Boyce again if you want to risk it. And
You'll lose any points.
That would be real tricky.
That's why I
Yeah.
didn't answer. I'm like, wait, no, it wouldn't be Cameron Boyce again.
Unless. Next clue is Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Okay, nobody on that one.
No, I feel like I should know that. I love that show.
yeah,
You should with your Marvel hat.
Next one, Liv and Maddie.
Yeah, that's no help to me now.
yeah, that's
I'm so sorry.
I can't help it. Next one, we have a Angry Birds movie 2.
Jason Sudeikis.
they made two of those movies.
Josh Gad.
They did make 2 of those movies.
Bill Hader.
Barry.
And last clue is Dumpling.
What?
That's the
So-
easy one?
Is that the movie with Jennifer Aniston as the lead?
It
Am I off?
was yes, it was a Netflix movie that came
Oh,
out.
I shouldn't.
That.
I was going to look it up, but then I was like,
Oh, yeah.
I'm sorry.
We appreciate your honesty and good ethics here, Cameron.
All right, so
Cameron
the
Duel, is he
correct-
in it?
So the correct answer was
All right, guys, I was in Dumpling. I'm Dumpling.
correct answer was Dove Cameron.
Oh.
Duh.
I still like. I'm gonna start calling you Dumpling from now on.
Who are
I like
they in
that.
Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D.?
She played. I can't remember the character's name, but she was one of the people that was locked up, that was being trained, and God, I can't think of the character's name.
It's okay.
Now from it.
Yeah.
I'll have to look it up
Yeah.
later. But yeah, she
Not
was on there for
important.
like a 6-episode arc. It's not like she was on there for just one episode. So she was actually on there for a little while. All right, we're on to round 6 now.
Dang. And then, okay.
Oh,
Okay.
failing
I got to get
miserably.
one.
Alita Battle Angel. Cameron.
It's not Cameron Crowe, is it?
Oh no, it's not Cameron
Okay.
Crowe. I'm sorry.
Okay.
So you're out for that round. Next one.
Oh wait.
is-
Wait, before you go on, I got
Say
one.
Wait.
Wait, yeah, I got one.
You can't guess for the same clue. You have to wait till there's another clue.
Oh, I didn't realize that. Okay.
Yeah.
That wasn't
No,
in the
it's
rules.
my fault. I only explained it to you.
I missed that.
Maybe
I'm
sent
taking
smoke
credit.
signals, carrier
I'm not-
pigeon, something else. I don't know.
I'm not saying you didn't. I'm saying I missed it.
The Trees Riverboat Casino.
Yep.
Make up rules
this
as
is
you
a
go.
rule that was established at the beginning.
Yeah.
All right, here we go.
It's fine.
Avatar. Anybody
that
want to
work?
buzz in? Anybody at all want to buzz in on this
You're
one?
not taking Clint's answer. then.
Okay, Clint, go ahead.
It's James Cameron.
It is James Cameron.
I knew that at the lead
Yeah.
of it too. Damn it.
How's your head?
I forgot he was involved with that.
Keep
Oh,
going. Maybe
right.
you'll forget
It's
the
empty,
answers
it's
next
fine.
time.
It's already empty. It doesn't matter.
You said it, not me.
Ooh, bingo square.
I didn't force it either.
All right. Moving on to round 7.
I don't have that one. Damn.
Seven.
I'm gonna-
Seven.
I'm going to throw the easy one out in the first round, see if somebody can
Oh,
catch
I thought
up.
James
Feeling bad
Cameron
for
was
us.
going to be the easiest question here.
yeah. I thought that was yeah.
It
James
depends.
Cameron.
It depends if you were a child of the 80s and 90s or not. Full House.
Oh.
Ryan.
Candace Cameron.
Very good. Candace Cameron Bure is correct. Very good. 50 points to Ryan.
I don't know how I feel about you changing the rules halfway through.
Who said I was changing the rules? I just decided to
you
give
said
the
you just
clue
changed the
differently.
order of the
You had the
question.
same opportunity that Ryan did, but you didn't capitalize on it there, Mr. Head Slappy.
It's just nice to know that every podcast game is a riverboat casino. So
Oh, yeah. They're all Calvin Ball in some
no matter
sense.
what.
It just depends what river it is, that's all.
That's right.
Yeah, here it's the Mississippi River. All right, here we go. Round 8. Vanilla Sky.
Sorry.
Next.
Tom Cruise?
Almost Famous.
Oh,
Clint.
that one's Cameron Crowe.
There it is.
Cameron Crowe is
There it is.
correct.
I didn't
Y'all-
realize. Yeah.
Nicely
Clint
done.
win, and I don't like that.
No,
funny.
we
I know
know you
that.
don't.
Clint, you keep whacking
You'll
your
let him
head like
win.
there's a bell on it, like ding, 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 ding.
There's not that ringing in my ear. Is something else.
Yeah, that's just hollow in there. That's what it is. Thank you for that.
Okay.
Does that count
How
as
are the levels on that? How are they?
Yeah.
Did that sound good?
Yeah, it's definitely being left in there too.
We're tuning now?
All right. Remember, this is a bonus round.
Oh,
About to go a little riverboat casino on y'all again. Get ready for some head slapping.
God.
Clint, what is that behind you that just fell down?
what?
Growing
No, I
pains.
saw it too. I saw it too. A
Growing
lot.
pains.
I got you. All right, let's play.
I just said
He
it.
just
Growing
said it. I
pains.
just can't.
Oh,
Ryan.
Kirk Cameron.
Kirk Cameron, very good. Ryan,
I
with
couldn't
the
remember his
100
first name.
points. Very good. Okay, last one. And you know what? Just because I'm feeling kind of riverboaty and kind of casino-y, we're going to go double points again for this one.
Wow.
She just wants any chance for Clint to lose.
I guess so. Wow. Well, I'm already losing. Ryan's beating me right now. Or no, we're tied.
No, I'm winning.
You're winning. Okay.
Okay. Are we ready? Final
Sure.
round. Okay.
Sure.
Paper soldiers. Okay. Next clue. Paid in full.
Eric B. and Rakim.
You didn't slap your head. Plus, it's wrong.
Yep.
Okay. Next clue. State property. Blood on the streets. Okay. Next clue. Killer season.
Oh,
These
I'm
sound like
just gonna
rap
guess.
albums.
Nate.
Is it Cameron?
It is Cameron. Very good.
nice.
Hence,
I was like,
Oh
wait a
my
second. This all
yeah, when he
sounds
okay,
like
yeah, when you
yeah.
said state property, I'm like,
yeah. I was like,
Wait, I was gonna say
yeah.
rock the mic, but
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
like, wait a second.
very good.
And in last place, unfortunately, is our guest, the Cam himself. In third place is Nate with 50 points. In second place is Clint with 130. And first place, our winner is Ryan with 180
Yes.
points. Well done,
Dang.
Ryan.
Clint
Well done,
loses a
Ryan.
game. Bingo square.
It's true. I already knocked it down.
Just putting it out there.
That's awesome. Well, thank you, Joey. It was a tough one, but that was a lot of fun.
Kudos to you, Nate. That was a good answer to the last
I was
question.
like, as he was going through it, I was like, wait a second. Yeah, that was a good twist. I like that one.
I knew
Because
the
we
last
weren't
one had some
expecting
twists, yeah.
music, right? We were thinking like movies, TV shows.
Yeah.
Oh,
So
no,
they're
those
all
are all ones he
those
actually
are all
played a
movies.
role in.
Yeah, he's done a bunch of movies. They're like
Those are all
just
movies?
independent
Yeah,
films.
those are all movies he was in.
Yeah,
Shows what I know.
That's right.
Yeah.
State property. Right.
Amazing. Yeah,
Okay.
it's amazing.
Touche.
But you still won, Ryan. So congratulations, Ryan, on winning this
Thank
week's
you.
game. Before we wrap everything up, Cam, why don't you plug yourself? Give us your social handles, things like that. Just let us know where we can find you and interact with you and stuff like that.
Yeah. So I'm on Instagram and Twitter at Cameron Duel, Deuel. And I'm usually on there all the time. So especially more so now. So yeah, I'm happy to jump on and hang out with everyone.
Hey,
I hope
Cameron.
everyone's safe and what's going on?
I was gonna say, are you still doing your newsletter?
Yeah, it's going out. Oh, thank you. No one asks. No one ever asks, which I think is so weird. I know they see it, but no one ever asks.
We do.
So I've been doing a music newsletter for about 5 years. It's called Rations. Send it out on the last day of every month, and it's usually just like a wrap up of all the new albums and releases that I've been listening to, and just kind of a grab bag of stuff that I think is really fun or interesting. So if we ever needed a distraction now, that's a good one. I can go to my bio on Twitter to sign up, or to rations.substack.com. You can sign up there as well.
I actually keep meaning to sign up, and so I'm gonna do that right now.
Yeah, I'm signed up. So
And we don't do the big mass Funcast sign off, so we all each take our turn with our sign off. But we will let you go last since you are the guest of honor. You can wrap it all up.
So thank you everyone for joining us this week. Thank you, Cam, for taking time out of your day, hanging out with us and chatting cons and music and just about everything with us today. Just keep in mind our photo a day contest is starting April 1st. So we'll have more details on that on Twitter and whatnot. But with everything else, I guess that's about it. And that's my secret. I'm always angry.
Later, all you cool cats and kittens.
Word, homies.
Oh, no.
Please, no gang signs.
And Cameron, your sign off?
Oh man. Well, thank you guys for having me. First of all, I think this is if there was ever a testament to the community around what we're doing, this is a great example of that. So thank you for including me. Everyone stay safe and don't forget to keep popping.